This is Shelley Kraft. We're coming to you live on SNN Live. We're at the FSX conference in Washington, D.C. This handsome young man next to me is Paul Hughes of Guardian 8, a publicly traded company, and the symbol is GRDH. Welcome to SNN Live.
Thanks for having us, Shelley. We really appreciate the time.
Now, it's good to have you, but what is this?
This here is the new G8 Pro V2. It's a product we developed specifically for the professional security industry. And the professional security industry is different from law enforcement and military because they're more defensive in nature. It's not a tactical, aggressive type of role that they're in. So we built a product that was specifically meant for them.
You want me to hold it?
Absolutely.
If you want to talk with your hands?
Go right ahead. So the product was built with 8 key features to it. And so there's a camera built into the unit, there's a laser spotter in the unit, a microphone. All of that lends towards what we call de-escalation of the situation and a better documentation of what takes place. So when the reports are being filled out, we know what happened.
So in other words, if Mr. Zimmerman had this in his hand rather than a lethal weapon, we wouldn't have to see that doggone news report.
That's big news, and that's a key consideration for the corporate consumer that buys security and contract security services. They don't want to be splashed on the headlines. And so if they were better able to account for what happened out there, and if the guard had been carrying his items with him instead of leaving them in the vehicle, there's a number of reasons why it's important that the tool fit the task. And that's, in my opinion, that's probably why he didn't have anything with him.
This is like a smart, non-lethal weapon. So what this does, so in other words, if a security officer confronts a suspect, a perpetrator, and he and that guard are one-on-one, it's his word against his word and his word against his word until this.
That's exactly right. And that whole scenario, the Pro V2, is actually that whole umbrella of issues is called vicarious risk, and that's what the security companies are trying to address, is to make sure that all the risks are covered. So when it comes to he said, she said, and we can go back to a time and date stamped image and audio, the risk of legal recourse drops dramatically, and by dramatically I mean over 75%.
Was the color of this weapon that's non-lethal purposely designed to be white and not black?
That's exactly right. And what we did not want was anybody mistaking a non-lethal product for a lethal one and then drawing a lethal response. So there are a number of factors we built into the unit to make it clear that this is a non-lethal product, and that's all in an attempt to cap any issue at the non-lethal level.
Does this have a taser in it?
It does not have a taser in it. In fact, we worked quite a bit with the industry to see what tools did they really want on their duty belt.
So what's on this?
What's on there are 8 different features. There's a Bluetooth module in there for communication. So when I activate that unit, it's going to call out to whatever number I program into the unit. It's got a laser spotter on there, and that's for communicating over distances that you're able to protect yourself. It's got a strobe light and a sonic sounder on there, and those are meant to confuse and disorient the user. It's also got pepper spray in there. We worked with a company in St. Louis, Missouri, with a brand called Saber Red. It's very popular in the professional security space and police space, and it's legal for sale in all 50 states.
And this is durable.
It is durable. That's one of the key considerations when you're building equipment for this audience, is that they're very rough on their equipment. And so whenever the duty belt comes off, it gets thrown into the trunk or dropped on the ground, whatever the case may be, the equipment has to be able to hold up to that.
Is it price sensitive?
It is. That was one of the considerations when we were approaching.
You've got a lot of considerations, I'll tell you.
It has been a lot of consideration. We've got some very bright minds working on it. And on the price side, it's priced at $249 is our retail price. We knew that was a key consideration getting into the security space because they're not always very highly compensated. And so the equipment had to match basically who our user was. So we were very sensitive on a pricing standpoint.
What about the home market and the small business market? Isn't that an opportunity?
It's a huge opportunity for us. In fact, it's far larger than what
the consumer market.
Exactly. It's far larger than the professional security space, which is already large. There's law enforcement, which is about 780,000 sworn officers there. There's 3.2 million security people in the industry, and then in the United States there's over 300 million people. So absolutely, that when we get into that consumer space, that's going to be a very important market for us.
I think this is brilliant. What is your website?
Our website is guardian8.com. That's guardian with the number 8.com. And people can go there, learn more about the product, and learn more about our delivery in Q4 this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Hughes from Guardian 8, public company, GRDH. We are at FSX in Washington, D.C., and I want to thank you for coming on. Here's your weapon.
Thank you, Shelley.
Non-lethal weapon. And thanks for coming on to SNN Live.
Thank you, Shelley. Appreciate it.